Welcome to the first of a number of recorded lecture videos for your MIS206 Intro to Management Information Systems. The primary intent of this week's materials is to get you familiar with the scope of how the Knowledge Information System, or Information IS, will impact you as a business employee. You might need just a little input on how IS impacts your personal life, but your value as a well-paid employee is certainly tied to your understanding of how computing technologies impact your performance at work. In the next several slides, we'll add some thoughts on the materials found in Chapter 1 of the text, and I encourage you to do an internet search on any unfamiliar terms to assist you in understanding the new technology and concepts we encounter. Now, information systems can be anything from a book bag to a library card catalog or to a traffic light system. In this class, we'll focus on a particular kind of information system, the computer-based information system. We'll explore how these computer-based IS supports businesses. Given our focus, let's decompose these terms. Information is data that has been collected and processed in such a way that it is useful to people. Raw data is collected in a variety of ways and is stored until it can be processed into meaningful information. Keep in mind that meaningful information to one person might be gibberish to another, but getting the right information to the right people is implied here. Systems are a collection of related components that work together to accomplish tasks. In this course, systems are a collection of related components that work together to accomplish specific business tasks. While every information system is unique in its construction to fit the needs of its environment, they all have some basic building blocks in common. Information systems are about servicing the needs of particular people. They are first and foremost a people system. Their design, implementation, and support are all intended to meet the needs of the people who use, pay for, or regulate the system. The information part of the term comes from the processing of raw data into something of value to the people using the system. Presenting information to people is the primary job of an information system. All of the business value is created in an information system that comes from the various levels of software deployed in the system. Software provides that human to computer interface needed to help people do their jobs. Even though there are many computer to computer relationships across the system, the ultimate task is to service the needs of the people. The whole of the system is implemented on top of a hardware infrastructure that serves to transport, store, and protect data. Today, living wage jobs in high tech require an ever-evolving knowledge of the software and hardware tools used to keep businesses viable in the marketplace. Yesterday's knowledge is insufficient for tomorrow's workers. We should all be compelled to be lifelong learners if we are to keep up with the changing technologies used in business. Regardless of your chosen profession, Technology tools are increasingly important to your ability to do your job and add value to an organization. To be successful in the workplace, you need to be informed about both what technology tools are being employed, but also you'll be expected to think creatively about how to apply those tools to new challenges and opportunities as they arise. Key jobs require that you work with IT to leverage the technology that helps you be more productive. It is hard to get to keep a job without solid skills using information technologies. Information processing tools are commonplace today. Information processing tools are vital to business. Everybody needs to learn what their tools are and how to use them. However, just knowing about the tools is not enough. You need to understand how these tools capture, store, process, and display data so you can turn that data into the useful information needed. Regardless of the industry, the primary competitive resources are information, including information about product, customers, and competition, to name a few. Information systems are tools we use to manage data, to turn it into information. These tools are becoming increasingly complex and will take a concerted effort on your part to stay current in their use. It's intended that this course be a step in that direction. As we mentioned previously, we use information to capture data and process it into useful information. While we get accurate and current information as a critical need important to business, it is the translation of that information into pertinent knowledge that fuels the success of business. Just having the right data and turning that data into accurate information is not enough to keep an organization on track. We must learn how to turn that information into useful operations and processes that help a company thrive in the marketplace. The massive amounts of data that must be processed to be useful knowledge requires effective and efficient information systems to execute that task. Businesses are dependent on information systems today, now more than ever. Reliance on these systems makes it imperative that employees understand their use and operation. Let's review some key concepts. Computer networks that form the infrastructure of information systems are comprised of a bewildering number of hardware and software elements that make up these complex systems. For our purposes, we'll establish that modern information systems are made up of complex combinations of computing hardware, software that runs the hardware, databases, and other data storage technologies, and the transport infrastructure we refer to as computer-based networks. In addition, it's important for us to memorize that these information systems are specifically designed for sales, needs of people, and the businesses in which they work. Computer networks are designed around business processes and procedures that service the people in those businesses. In a very real sense, all information systems are, at their core, social networks. Of course, the focus of these networks is the well-being of the company that pays for them. The authors of this text like the term computer-based information systems to describe the systems treated in this course. Okay, that makes sense given that there are many types of information transferal systems that are based on digital computer networks. As I mentioned before, we are addressing those computer-based information systems exclusively in this course. The purpose of the graphic on this page is to show that all of the hardware, software, and business employees are integrated into a holistic package that allows all of these components to work together efficiently. An efficient network is barely known by the people who use its services. However, the complexity of this design of these networks is profound. One of the goals of this course is to expose you to the inner workings of these complex systems so you can appreciate the level of integration and design that is required for a successful system. Now, unless you work in an IT-related job, the users rarely see the complexity behind the system. Typically, we interact with this system only through the two-dimensional screen attached to our computing device. Now, if you notice the columns on this graphic, they're meant to show the major software tools used across the organization. The transaction processing system layer that interacts with the columns says that each of these software tools are independent in operation, but they are connected across the enterprise and can exchange data as needed. The simplicity of the graphic does not suggest the complexity of integration required for these software packages to communicate effectively. The work of IT is to ensure that all these elements work together well. In the reading of this chapter, each of these layers are addressed and defined. Take the time to understand the scope of each and to think about how they work together towards the whole system. The table 1.3 recreated here points out that modern information systems fulfill many roles within the organization. The smartphone is a great example of a multifunctional tool. Today's smartphones are much more than just phones. The universal design of them allows them to be an impressive network of applications that use the same user interface. While their computation abilities are typically enough personal needs, they're far short of the raw computing power and communications capability of even the smallest information system. Though I like to point out that your average smartphone has many hundreds of computing capability that took us to the moon and back in the 1960s. Modern businesses generate massive amounts of information daily. These employee-centric systems need to be able to scale to accommodate large numbers of users and to provide access and secure data in a somewhat customized manner for each user. Increasing the capabilities of an information system without compromising performance, access, and security is no small feat. Scan through the list of capabilities on this slide as a precursor of topics to come in this course. The point of this slide is to provide a wider view of our business information system. It's one thing to get our internal information systems to function well. It's quite another to integrate that system into the internet. Today's customers expect to interact with organizations from wherever they are. Business partners expect high-speed data communications that link everybody to everybody. The worldwide flow of goods and services are mostly integrated into our information system. Taking our precious company information onto the public internet introduces multiple new layers of complexity not dreamt of just a few years ago. Our understanding of information systems must extend outside the organization to a world of customers, business partners, and regulatory agencies that lay just beyond our doors. As information systems continue to expand, the number of employees needed to support the expansion also increases. The sheer volume of information requires that we develop new skills to take advantage of those capabilities. Unlike the industrial age 100 more years ago, where a job skill might last an individual for a lifetime, the jobs created by information systems are much more transient. For example, new advances in our ability to capture and process big data requires that new job skills be developed to accommodate these structural changes. Not so long ago, there was a big rush to train web developers as the World Wide Web expanded rapidly. But these days, many of the new jobs favor data analytics and the uses of other kinds of data modeling software. The point here is that all knowledge workers must continue to expand their skills and keep abreast of the new technologies that often surpass the older ones. Getting a general overview of technology builds a good base for future learnings and skills development. The technologies that you'll be working on when you graduate from college likely might not have been invented yet. Build a good base of understanding of how current technologies interact now so you can adapt more easily in the future. Now, table 1.4 from the text here shows that this is intended to point out that a modern information system is comprised of many subsystems. Each of the information systems mentioned on the table is designed to accomplish specific goals. It's common that an average information system today has all these sub-functions and likely even more. The idea here is that with an enterprise network, there are likely many functional networks, with each having a different set of user data requirements. And all these functions are driven by specific software. All of these software applications can use the same data highway, also known as infrastructure, to exchange data and communicate with other software packages as needed. I'd like you to take a moment and get a sense of how different organizations employ their data systems. I'm hoping you'll discover that each industry has unique needs that they have to bake into their subsystems. Finding an industry that's interesting and doing some research on how they leverage their information system to operate effectively is really beneficial. Read through each of these industry types to get a sense of the different problems or opportunities they face. While you're at this, see if you can find industries that are negatively impacted by the requirements of implementing information systems. Some industries are radically changed with the presence of computing technologies. See if you can determine if jobs are being created or destroyed, and try to read between the lines to see how technology changes the manager's role in these organizations. Generally, when we think about how technologies will evolve in the future, we get it wrong. In the 1960s, future thinkers had us zipping around in flying cars and robots doing all the menial work by today. There's an old saying that when we get to the future, we too often find that the future is not what it used to be. We're living in an age where most businesses are completely dependent on their information processes. Digital technologies have revolutionized how we live. For better or for worse, information systems impact most areas of our lives. Information-intensive industries like healthcare are awash with data from a myriad of data-generating appliances. In closing, it's important to understand that part of living and working in the information age is developing the skills that help keep up with the technologies as they become mainstream in business functions. As with all changes, some elements of changes are good, some elements are not. Either way, it is useful for us to keep up with those changes by continually learning about the new technologies as they develop.